from the outside, you look successful, but inside, you still don't feel worthy of love or sometimes even respect, this video is for you. My name is Karen Ann Hope Andrews. I've been a clinical psychologist since 2009, and I've helped plenty of high achievers overcome this feeling of inadequacy. Today, I want to share with you 3 simple steps that will help you to do the same. Let's get into it. Step 1, spot the origin story. The feeling of not being good enough usually doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from somewhere very specific. It comes from somewhere in our childhood. It starts in our childhood, not usually as a single moment, although it can be, but more like a repeated message that was reinforced to us over time. A message from our parents, from our teachers, from our context, from our peers, even from cultural expectations of us, and from like the roles that we've been expected to play because of gender or whatever it might be. And these repeated experiences have shaped the way that we see ourselves. They form the foundation of our identity. One of my clients, let's call her Fatima, is a senior partner at a global law firm. She's brilliant and she is very respected. But every time she made even a tiny little mistake, she'd spiral into a feeling of utter shame. She told me that she feels like she's managed to fool everyone. And one day, someone's going to find out that I'm not really that good. When Fatima and I traced the roots of this belief, it wasn't about the mistake. It wasn't about an internalized message learned and reinforced over the years that love, praise, and that feeling of belonging were conditional in her family. Children internalize these messages as shame, and it becomes an unconscious belief. It's like a core belief that I'm not good enough. The shame itself gets kind of buried in our unconscious, but it becomes the foundation of the coping mechanism that we use to kind of cover it up. Coping mechanisms are ways that we defend against the shame. For example, things like perfectionism, taking way too much responsibility, the need for control. And because these coping strategies often are the things that lead us to success, we don't question them. We wear them like a game face, a mask, a polished version of ourselves that we show to the world. But meanwhile, inside, we feel like a fraud. Because the public self, the game face, and the private self, our internal idea of ourselves, are not aligned. So here's your first action step. Write down your earliest childhood memory of having this feeling of being not good enough. Who was there? What happened? What were you told or not told? It might not be one event. Most likely it's a pattern of events. But starting with a memory helps you to start the process, and it helps you to name it. Simply identifying your origin story gives you some power back. Step 2, dismantle the perfection trap. Let's talk about another client. We'll call him Hussein. He told me, I cannot relax until I have done everything on my to-do list. But his to-do list was impossible. His house had to be spotless. Everything was always in its place rigidly. And for Hussein, by the time he got everything done, and by the time he got his environment organized to the point of perfection, it was literally too late to enjoy pretty much anything. This collection of habits was actually costing him sleep. It was messing with his connection in relationships. It was damaging his peace. It was too much effort for him to have friends over, because then he would have to spend too long cleaning up after they left. His underlying belief was, only when everything is perfect am I allowed to rest. When he and I identified this, he started experimenting with a new mantra, which is one of my favorites. Done is better than perfect. He began letting a few things slide, not turning every workout at the gym into a performance with a massive invisible audience. And guess what happened? Nothing fell apart. But he began to feel better. He began to feel more whole. So here's your action step. Where in your life are you expecting perfection? Where are you being rigid? In what ways are your standards too high? Would you expect the same of a friend? And what would it look like to give yourself permission to be an imperfect human being instead? Step 3, rewire that voice in your head. The inner critic often sounds like a parent, a teacher, or a coach, but it's become your voice and you hear it every day. It's bad enough that we had to grow up listening to these harsh voices and these horrible messages about ourselves. But what is heartbreaking is that we adopt these messages, we internalize them, and we make them ours. We carry these negative messages forward with us into our lives, and we beat ourselves up with them as adults. It doesn't have to be this way. You have more choices than you might realize. You can choose what to carry forward with you into the rest of your life and what you are ready to let go of and to leave behind you in the past. One client set an alarm on her phone every morning, and I thought it was so sweet. She had a message to herself on the alarm saying, "You are worthy. You are enough." Another one of my clients began a daily gratitude practice. She didn't journal every day. Sometimes she said her gratitude out loud, sometimes she jotted it down on her phone, but every day she took a moment to think about and recognize what was good in that moment. She started to recognize her resilience, her family, her health, her courage, her good fortune. Gratitude has been scientifically proven over and over again to increase well-being and self-worth. It's not fluff, it's neuroscience. And it's something that we regularly do together in my high-performance mindset community. If you'd like to join, and if you'd like to experience that kind of support, you're welcome to click on the link in the description below. Both of these clients started to realize something that's actually quite profound. Their inner critic, just like yours, wasn't telling the truth. It was just familiar. It's just something that has been heard over and over again. And what's familiar isn't always right, it's just repeated. You don't have to silence your inner critic completely, but you can change your relationship with that voice. Understand that that critical voice is usually just a protective part of you. It may be quite a young part that's usually scared. Show it some kindness. When you hear it speak, ask, would I say this to somebody that I love? Would I say this to a colleague? If the answer is no, then why are you saying it yourself? Don't say it yourself. And if the answer is yes, and you do speak to others that way, it may be really time for you to seek help, because that kind of self-directed cruelty that is then directed onto others has ripple effects on people and on you. It damages your mood, your relationships, your ability to function. Try saying things like, I did my best today. I deserve to rest. I can trust myself. I am good enough. I can handle what comes up. Feeling not good enough, even when you're outwardly successful, is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal. You're ready to start healing. If this video spoke to you, please check out the description. You'll find more links to work with me one-on-one and to join my high-performance mindset community. I'd also love it if you like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!